Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is going to be a three-part video. The goal is to finally graph a quadratic function, and what we want to start with is we want to analyze the vertex form. So when I say analyze the vertex form, I essentially mean we want to identify the vertex, the coordinates of the vertex. We also want to identify the axis of symmetry, and we also will try to find the maximum or minimum depending on the nature of the graph. Okay, once we do that in this video, in the next video I want to talk about the most important intercepts, the x and the y intercepts, and finally we'll combine both the pieces from this video and my next video, and we will graph a quadratic function. Okay, so I don't want to make one big video, and again I don't have enough space here to actually do everything in one video, so I'm going to break this into three smaller videos. Okay, so I already have an equation right here. Let us start by analyzing the equation, guys. The first thing that I would like you to recall is the fact that how does a vertex form look like. So the vertex form looks like this. Let us remind ourselves, it looks like f of x equals to a times x minus h, right? X minus h whole square, and then there is a plus k, right? This is my vertex form. So guys, based on this, let us see if we can identify a. Well, it should not be too difficult. So the first thing, let us identify the a. So a is simply positive 3. And what do we know when a is positive? So whenever a is greater than 0, whenever a is positive, we know that the graph of the quadratic function, the parabola, it opens up, right? It opens up. So it opens up. That is something we have to remember. If a is positive, the graph opens up. If a is negative, less than 0, then it opens down. So if it opens up, that already tells me that we are going to have a minimum, right? So we'll have a minimum here. Now, before moving to the next piece, let us go back and compare the two equations, guys. Comparing these two equations, now we should be able to figure out what are the coordinates of the vertex. And we know that the coordinates of the vertex, the x coordinate is h and the y coordinate is k, right? So we have to find the h and k. Now to find h and k, what we can do here is we can just compare the given equation with the vertex, with the standard vertex form. This is the general vertex form, and this is our equation. So one of the ways to find h is, what you can do is you can set x minus 4, the piece inside the parentheses, equal to the other one, the general vertex form. So if I set them equal to each other, and my goal, keep in mind the goal is to solve for h. What happens here? The x's both sides will cross out, the negatives cross out, and I will get h equals to 4. So that would be the x coordinate of the vertex, and in this case we already know that is going to be the minimum, right? Then we also have to figure out the k. Well, to find the k, we don't have to do extra work. We can already see that this k, positive k, is supposed to be equal to -2. So just by comparing those two equations, guys, we are just simply comparing our given equation with the general vertex form. That's what we're basically doing to evaluate or to find a, h, and k. So k in this case, just by comparing these two equations, is simply -2. So we have the coordinates of the vertex. What are those coordinates? Let us write those down. The coordinates of the vertex are 4 and -2. The third thing is, what is the minimum? In this case, we know we are going to have a minimum, not a maximum, right? So the minimum is the y value of the vertex. So minimum is usually the k value of the vertex. So the minimum in this case is going to be -2. That is the minimum. And the last thing that I want to do for this video, where we're analyzing the vertex form, is to write the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, we know from my introductory video on the vertex form, is the vertical line that goes through the vertex, which divides the graph into two symmetrical pieces. and the equation is given by, since it's a vertical line which passes through the vertex, it is given by x equals to h, and in this case the h value is 4. So this is going to be my equation or axis of symmetry. Okay, guys, let us keep these 4 things in mind, and then in the next video we're going to learn, or we're going to talk about the x and y intercepts. We bring this and that together, and then we'll be able to finally graph a quadratic function. And in the next video, I'm still going to stay with the same equation because we want to finally graph this equation. So we want to evaluate all the necessary pieces that one needs, or what we need in order to graph this function. Okay, guys, once you understand how to calculate all these things, then you would be able to graph basically any quadratic function. Okay.